Techtonica, a factory automation game set under the surface of the planet Calyx, is getting ready for their early access launch, which is slated for the 18th of July, so coming soon. More importantly, a few weeks ago, I got a chance to speak with the developers whilst enjoying some early access footage. And I'm going to share all of the juicy information with you, but before we start, this game footage was taken from the interview and was a slightly older build, so some bugs are still present, which have been fixed for early access. Now, the interview was also for an hour, so I will be summarizing everything that we've gone through as briefly as possible, and we're probably going to overlay this with some trailer footage as well. So let's talk about it. Firstly, why early access for Techtonica? Well, with the team having received such great feedback from the demo, which was released last year, they wanted to continue receiving community feedback, especially given that they've decided to bring large regular updates similar to how Satisfactory releases them, but hopefully on a quarterly time basis. So that's 4 big updates a year with various quality of life patches and bug patches in between. I must admit, this really excites me. I love seeing a game develop, and I love having big updates, whether that's once or twice a year or even quarterly. That's going to be fantastic, allowing me to keep you up to date with new information on a regular basis. Also, I'm thinking about it, would you like to see a Let's Play of this? Of course, we will be doing guides as well throughout the release, but let me know what you'd like to see of my content in the comments below. If you've already played the demo, then you already know there's a lot to play around with, plenty of hours of fun. However, there is a lot more coming to their 0.1 early access release. First off, the game map is expanding. They've said it's 5 to 10 times the size of the demo that we've already seen. And from the get-go, there are some big changes. For example, the whole tutorial area has been changed considerably. It's been totally reworked, and this includes the factory itself as well as the foliage around, which is much more vibrant and fully removable. It really does make the world feel much more beautiful and lively, given that it's such a dark kind of premise being set under the ground. So I think they've done a fantastic job there. They've also updated the graphics and added a lot more, which includes new buildables such as the monorail, voltage stepper and core composer. Along with the new buildables, we will also have a story that we can follow along, and from my understanding, they intend to release the story throughout the early access period, so you'll have reason to come back to the story after each update and get further along with that. Now, a big part of the game, outside of the automation, is the exploration and discovery element. There's now new sub-biomes available and hidden mysteries that tie into the lore, and they've told me that they've added a lot of foreshadowing as to what's to come through the lore. So it's in our best interest to not only explore, but pay attention to all of the details around us. And in order to do that, we will be using our friend the mole, which allows us to remove large swathes of earth at a time. Or with the new mole unlockable, we'll actually be able to flatten the ground to help build our factories. And from time to time, you may discover these abandoned facilities. We saw a few of them in the demo, and with a small price in terms of resources, we can actually unlock these. Of course, you can also handcraft the items in order to unlock them, and you can do this on the move. However, they've tried to incentivize automation by giving players double the return on resources over manufacturing items by handcrafting. And obviously this scales, so the later tier items you're definitely going to want to automate. Now, they have also mentioned to make automation easier, they're working on buildable interfaces that display the ratios of resources required, but this will come at a later date, so after early access. And if you think you've already worked out the ratios from the demo, well, I have to say they've balanced a lot of the original recipes that we saw in the demo, so that's all going to change anyway. Another big thing for me is factory customization. In any factory game, it's what I really look for, it's what I enjoy, and they feel the same. It's a big priority for them, and they've mentioned that they have a lot planned for buildables in the future, which we can expect soon after the early access release. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's what's involved in the first update that they plan to bring to early access. Speaking of the updates, they were also happy to announce that with the updates, there may be new biomes, and within these biomes, you'll need new factory buildables, such as the Crusher, which they've already hinted at. And some of these buildables are going to be making use of new alien resources. So during the demo, we had access to iron, copper, and limestone, but upon early access release, we're going to be able to find geodes, which will have to be broken open with explosives, allowing us to harvest a new resource called Atlantum. This is a late tier resource used in recipes and buildables such as the monorail, so do keep an eye out for that, but there is planned to be more in the future. You can see here the monorails whizzing around. Well, the monorails were added as the team believed that we're going to be having sprawling factories across the world, and the monorails offer an easy back and forth option to send these resources quickly, which also look pretty cool. Now, at this stage, the monorails will only be able to work in a push-pull configuration, and the good thing is they'll be able to pick up resources, drop them off, and then pick up resources at the other end and send them back, from my understanding. But they do have plans to improve the monorails at a later date. Though they haven't promised signaling, they have talked about it. Who knows? Maybe we'll have something like that. Now, the same goes for general factory logic. Though it's something they've talked about and are open to adding eventually, if there's interest, they want to focus on the majority of their audience who probably aren't going to be too interested with logic at this time. And dare I say it, I feel that's a logical decision for them to make. And speaking of logical decisions, the team will be releasing Techtonica with multiplayer so you can play with friends. If this is something that really does appeal to you, make sure to check out their Steam page. I'll pop the link in the description below. I think we've used it in a few videos previously as well. And of course, subscribe for more of my content. As you can bet, I'll be covering this. But guys, I hope you found this useful. I hope you found it helpful. And I'm obviously very grateful for the devs for giving me the interview. Also, I hope you look forward to the release date on the 18th of July. But thank you so much for watching. And until next time, special thanks does go to all of our amazing supporters on Patreon, most notably our Solarclipse patrons, James Irwin, Firefless, and Trebor, as well as our Lunas, the Calamity, Ben, Star, Shoku, the MN Wolf, and That Dude AW, as well as our Blood Moon of the day, which today is Papa Snoozy. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.